Here to talk through this Battleships variation by JinHoo Ahn with a 2021 into 2022 theme. For this puzzle, just because it's using Minesweeper clues, will go to the shading mode and use green for C's and start by just marking around these 0 clues that these have to not have any ship segments near them. In doing that, there are some clues like this 2 that have just 2 cells left. Again, 2 cells left and 2 cells left. So the start looks to be making these placements. And anytime you're putting a ship in Battleships, always mark off all the C's around it, because that's often where the next deductions come from. So this horizontal ship can't have any ship above it in this 4th row, including the cell that's diagonally adjacent to the 2 that we know are part of that ship. What that does, it says around this 2 clue, one of these 2 cells is the remaining ship, and consequently, this 1 clue is going to be seeing that blue ship, and that's going to finish the 1 clue. So we can mark off these cells. That means this 2 has to see these 2 ship sections. It also cancels this cell now. This is making this clue here into a 1, but this bottom clue is still a 2, so this has to see 2 ship segments, but one of them is going to be in the shared cell, so I put a ship in here. That cancels off of this based off ship touching constraints, puts the ship in here, that finishes this 2, finishes this 2. So we've got a good start to the grid. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 ships placed, but we should notice here that we have nothing like the 4-unit battleship in the grid yet. And so where can that go that's away from cells already marked in green? It's not a horizontal placement. It has to be a vertical placement. It can't start from here because of how this 1 clue looks, and it can't start from here either, because in doing this, I would mark all these cells off as well as this cell, and I can't get these 2 clues to work together. So what I think I see is that there are 2 spots for the battleship here, or I'll go to a different color here. And what is worth noting about that is that means that the battleship touches this 1 clue, and so these cells above the 1 are not going to be able to contain other ships. That means that for this 2 clue here, you have to put in a submarine and a ship in this cell. Canceling out this diagonal cell means that there's only 1 spot now for the battleship to actually go, which is right here. That comes into the grid. This 2 to be finished has to take this cell and this cell. That puts in a 3-unit cruiser. And I now see that I have 9 ships placed. A battleship set typically has 10 ships, and the only way to get 10 ships is to place a new ship here and not here. So I now have 10 ships in the grid. I've got 3 destroyers, so I'm not making another destroyer, but I do need another cruiser. So this sort of elegant but simple Battleships puzzle is hopefully a fun start to the new year for many of you, and hopefully you had success working through some of those early ship placements, going back to Battleships, thinking of larger ships and figuring out where the battleship can go, and then from there getting these last steps based off ship counting. Those individual steps are really key in different kinds of battleships, so hopefully you're learning these tips and tricks for the future puzzles you'll see on the site. Thank you, and we'll see you again soon.